Team.
Yeah, everything's recording now.
Okay.
And Nathan Good.
Can you hear me better now?
A little bit.
How about now?
Yeah. Welcome in here to the Coles Tractor and Equipment Football Roundtable. We're live from Applebee's in Farmington. I'm Brandon Pavlina alongside the rest of the regional radio sports crew. We've got Nathan Gertz, we've got Jacob Vincent, we've got Chad Speaker, and spinning the dials over there, we've got Stephen Kapler. We're glad to have everybody here on J98 and also on our social media platforms. You can find us on Facebook at Moinfo or Moinfo Sports. You can watch us and see what's going on over here at Applebee's in Farmington. You can also check us out on YouTube at our channel, Moinfo Sports. So that's how you can check us all out here at the Coles Tractor and Equipment Football Roundtable live from Applebee's in Farmington. Another great week of action in high school football, boys. So let's go ahead and jump right into the recap as we'll go ahead and later on in the program, we'll be joined by Corey Schweiss and a couple of Central Rebels, and we'll hear from them. But before we get to that, let's go back and look at the week that was in week 3 of the high school football season. We'll start off with the game that was heard right here on J98 last week. It was a game that Jacob Vincent was on the call for. It was one that got out of hand early and often. The North County Raiders, they pitched a shutout Friday night as they took down the DeSoto Dragons 62-0 on J98. North County, they received the opening kickoff, and they scored 8 plays later.
Kekak is going to be the lone receiver out to the right side. Chandler in the backfield. Reed under center this time. Takes a snap. Hand off to Chandler. Bouncing in. Touchdown, North County. Blake Chandler has 3 carries on the season. He's got 3 touchdowns. I'd say that's a pretty good percentage. It's 6-0. The home team Raiders on top of the DeSoto Dragons.
So, Vin, at that point in the game, it's pretty quick into it. Opening kickoff, 8 plays later, they find their way into the end zone. You're probably, what are you thinking at that point? I mean, how did North County look out of the gate? Did it seem like they were going to just steamroll everybody that night?
As soon as they came out, like you said, it seemed like it was going to go that way. I think it only took them, it was 2 minutes, maybe 3 minutes. It took them down to get down the field in those 8 plays. And like I just said, there are 3 carries for Clayton Chandler. He's 6'3", 194, and he only comes in on offense, at least when they're within the 5-yard line. It's working pretty well for him so far this season. Offensively in the first half, it went very well for him, and I know you'll get to it in a little bit. It kind of switched turns in the second half to the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, as you said, the North County offense, they scored 3 more times to take a 28-0 lead at the half. And then in the second half, it was the defense who decided they wanted to get in on the scoring party.
Rising in the shotgun, takes a snap, looking to pass, and it's picked off. Roos got it. He's got room in front. There goes Roos. And it's a pick 6 for the North County Raiders. Eric Roos has been a man on the outside on the wideout part for the North County offense. This time kicks it off at the line of scrimmage. Takes it all the way back for the pick 6.
So not only do you have that pick 6, but they go on to score 2 more defensive touchdowns, does North County, in the shutout. That is impressive, man. You talk about 3 defensive touchdowns on the night. I mean, it seemed like they could really do no wrong.
They had those 3 defensive touchdowns, and then Carter Kekak, he also had an interception, his 4th of the season already. Yeah, and they did end up scoring at the tail end of that play. Just didn't score on the interception that time. They had a blocked punt that was returned by Peyton Allen, who's a defensive lineman, 6'4", 250 guy, taking it all the way back. Pretty cool play from him.
I was going to say, on that play, I was at the studio listening, and it sounded like the sideline got pretty fired up.
Yeah, they actually they got a flag for a sideline warning, and I was like, uh-oh, is this coming back? You can't take it away from the big guy. It's a big fella touchdown.
Big man with the football. That's going to get the sideline fired up, right? I mean, I think we can all agree that you get a little excited for that one.
Well, rightfully so. You get a blocked punt, so everyone's pumped up just from blocking the punt, and then the big man picks it up, takes it all the way back, and it was something like 39, 40 yards, something like that, too. So it was not a short amount for him to run it all the way back. And then they got another defensive one at the very end of the game, a fumble recovery. Jackson Reed, one of the second-string guys, he came in and he got the job done. And we will hear from Coach Jones on what he thought defensively about the game as well.
Yeah, let's go ahead and hear that. As Coach Jones, he said it was a big goal to put a goose egg up on the board for the defense.
It's really something we talked about this week. And it was something that the defense really wanted to have happen. They wanted to pitch a shutout. And, even when we got some younger guys in, they took some pride. They got loose. So those runner got loose on that one play here late in the game. And our young guys stepped up and played some good defense to secure the shutout. So I'm really proud of our defense. It's been a long time since we scored 3 defensive touchdowns in a game, and
I mean, it's just flatly not something that you do very often. So not surprising that he's proud of his team's performance on that side of the ball.
Yeah, and in the first half, we didn't give the defense a lot of love. However, they made it possible for that offense to be so explosive in that first half, kept getting the ball back for them. The defensive line, they looked incredible. DeSoto, they have some really good skill guys, both in the wideouts and the running back, a very good one in the area, Dominic Punjani. He was averaging 10 yards a carry coming into this game. They pretty much snuffed him out. For offensive DeSoto, they had 81 total yards the whole game, and let alone just rushing yards. So the defensive line really got the job done, especially in the first half, and then the secondary started getting into it in the second half.
And not only that, but I see here that you had your Applebee's of Farmington player of the game was Nolan Reed, the quarterback for North County. So not only was the defense showing out, not only was the offense showing out, but so was the quarterback, of course, leading the charge on the offense. But 213 yards and a touchdown. It's a nice day at the office.
It was really tough going through it. I mean, I got my list right here of all the players that scored. 7 different players scored for North County in that game. And then 8 of them, if you want to count that pass from Reed to Roos. Roos had 2 touchdowns, 1 on the defensive side of the ball and 1 through the air on the offensive side. And then Devin Seastrand, he ran it in 2 times. And the cool story about Devin Seastrand, he's a senior coming into this game. He only had 1 carry coming into this game as well. He had 2 carries and 2 touchdowns. Well, he had more than 2 carries, but had 2 touchdowns on the ground in this game. Another one of those big bodies that they were using, kind of like Clayton Chandler. You get close to in the red zone, in the 5 yards within, using those big bodies. And I tell you what, Brian Jones, he told Chad earlier in the season against Farmington he had to kind of knock the rust off, calling plays. I told Coach Jones afterwards, well, it seems like he got the rust knocked off pretty well here, and they're going to have to keep it going coming up this week against Hillsborough.
Yeah, certainly did, and it was senior night, I believe, that night, so Seastrand getting some love there. Always love to see that. So Nolan Reed, though, the quarterback with a big day, 213 and a touchdown, as I said. North County, they're 2-1 now on the season, and they're going to be out to Hillsborough on Friday. We're going to have that game right here on J98. Looking forward to that one. That's going to be a dandy between those 2 teams. DeSoto, they're now 0-3, and they're going to have a tough one on the road against Festus, coming up against the 3-0 Tigers. So, Vin, I mean, just big takeaways from the ball game. Obviously, DeSoto with the shutout or getting shut out. North County with perhaps their most impressive win of the season. I mean, just what are your thoughts overall?
Well, DeSoto on their side of the ball, a lot of good skill players on that side. You got Levi Fisher and Brody Fisher, the 2 wideouts on the outside part. Rising, not a bad quarterback. He's just not getting a lot of time back there behind the line. That's their main thing, is their offensive line. They lost a lot of big guys last season, and a lot of young guys on the line this season. So it's going to be tough for them going forward, and it's going to be a learning experience for a lot of the players on that team. For North County, I think that's the best they've looked all season. I know Chad's home in week 1 against Farmington. Farmington, obviously a good team, and played them well for 3 quarters, like you mentioned. But this North County team looked very, very good. I mean, you can't put up 62 points without looking good, and I don't think you could pick out one thing in their game against DeSoto that they did wrong. I'm sure if you asked a couple of the coaches, maybe a couple of things, but from a broadcaster's perspective, that was a very clean football game.
You know, Farmington dominated them at times in week number 1 defensively, but in the fourth quarter, one of the final drives, Reed did a tremendous job hitting guys on the side, hitting guys on the hands on the sideline when they were going out to preserve clock. They mixed the run and the pass really well, and you thought, okay, there's 1 of 2 directions this can go. They can either be down because they lost to their rival in the opening week, or they can look at how they progressed throughout the game and how they ended that thing, and they can use that to bounce. And they really did that. They're a team not only that is improved, I think, last year to this year, but week to week as well.
Well, you mentioned the balance between running and passing. They had 423 total yards of offense, split almost equally, 213 through the air, 210 on the ground, and a big reason is because of our Applebee's of Farmington player of the game, and Nolan Reed runs it very well, but obviously, like you said, throws it very well too.
Well, looking forward to seeing that one on J98 this week between North County and Hillsborough. That's going to be a fun matchup. But then let's move on over to the game that was heard on AM 800 KREI here this week, as the Farmington Knights, they used a punishing ground game to beat down Sikeston 25-9. In both teams' SEMO North opener at Hal Memorial Stadium on KREI. The Knights, they pounded out 376 yards all on the ground. Man, that's a heavy ground attack there. Farmington, they scored the first 4 times they touched the ball, with 3 of the touchdowns coming from fullback Braden Bodkin.
They give us to Bodkin, and Bodkin just pushes his way right behind the line. 3-yard touchdown for Bodkin, and the Knights are on top. 6-0 in this one. And they give us to Bodkin. Bodkin breaks 1, 2, 3 tackles and gets into the end zone again.
Another touchdown for the Knights. This time, a 7-yard plunge. And Botkin breaks 2 tackles to the 5. Picks up a block by Westbrook, and he's into the end zone. Botkin was met at the line of scrimmage at the 7-yard line. Took out both tacklers, pushed him down to the ground, and then jitterbugged the rest of the way into the end zone.
Well, I'll tell you what, Chad. He had 35 carries for 238 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's quite a nice day for Braden Botkin. And every time that I heard a highlight from that game, it just sounded like he was running like a man possessed and refused to be taken to the ground.
Well, 2 impressions. First of all, it's a montage, so you know he's doing a good job. Secondly, I left the game feeling that I probably broadcast the game where we were going to have the athlete of the week. I didn't. That's a little foreshadowing, but he had that type of a quality week.
Yeah, Botkin, 238, 35 carries, 3 touchdowns. I mean, running just all over the place. But he was not to be outdone. Wyatt Westbrook, he set up the offense in the second quarter with a nice play reading quarterback Joe Heckmeyer.
Joe Heckmeyer back in the pocket now. Swings it right over the middle. Picked off by Westbrook. He's taken down by a helmet tackle. And that'll be a flag on the play. It'll be a face mask. But a tremendous interception on the first play from scrimmage by Wyatt Westbrook. Picked it off, read the pass right out of the hands of Heckmeyer, broke on the ball as soon as it came out of his hands, and Westbrook came right across the middle and picked it off. His first interception of the season. That'll set up Farmington not only in Sikeston territory, but you tack on the 15-yard face mask penalty. They will start at the Sikeston 19-yard line.
So that's a big defensive play there too, Chad. I mean, seemingly throughout the game, Farmington's defense was playing as well as they have all year long.
Yeah, set up a touchdown. And, it seems like there are kind of 2 kinds of interceptions. One where you guard a guy man-to-man and you're just there the whole way and you win the battle for the ball. But then, this case, it was a safety reading the quarterback's eyes and a beautiful break on it because it wasn't one of those balls that lofted up in the air. It was a ball on the line, but Westbrook read it so well. And as the ball was being released, you could already see that he was moving and came 15 yards and broke ahead of it. So, it was a big play for Farmington and one that turned the field back to them.
Yeah, and then it was Caden Files who notched the other score. He also ran for 100 yards on 23 carries. It was a big offensive round on the night for Farmington. Files and Botkin combined 58 carries, 338 yards, and Botkin, Chad had a chance to catch up with him after the game. He said the offensive line led the way.
I think they did an outstanding job. I think we definitely improved a lot more from the first 2 games. I mean, we came out and we were strong. That first drive, I think that's the strongest we've ever came out. And I don't know if that's just us on our senior night playing hard, but I really hope we play like that every game because that was outstanding. And I think they did a great job.
Well, Botkin thinks it was maybe the best and the hardest they've come out. Chad, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, it was definitely the most lopsided victory for them in terms of a battle in the trenches. Sikeston, if you take a look at how big their offensive and defensive lines were, they were roughly equivalent to Farmington, which usually is bad news for the opponent because Farmington is almost always universally undersized because they don't take guys that are left and put them on the line. They look for athletes. They look for quickness. They look for guys that are athletes in the position, and so they really overmatched Sikeston on the offensive front. And we hear the names of the guys that score the touchdowns so often, but for Farmington, Judd Cunningham, Grant Larkins, Logan Maxson, Jaden Euler, Cale Kraus. Those are the guys doing the work up front for them. And when 2 guys are going, in triple digits and one over 200 yards, there's a common denominator there.
Yeah, pretty nice performance. So, and we talked about the defense, and they held Sikeston scoreless for most of the game, 23 minutes and 59 seconds to be exact.
As Sikeston has it on a 2nd and 7. Looked like they left early, no call. And there's a beautiful pass over the middle into the hands of Daniel Lawrence, and he might go the distance to the 20, to the 10, to the end zone. Touchdown Sikeston. A 60-yard strike on a seam route. Heckmeyer to Lawrence.
So does that make that right at the end of the first half?
Final play of the first half, and it goes 60 yards. And Farmington, it was interesting just the way that it all worked out because Farmington got the ball back with about a minute left, and they're just attacking between the tackles. But then you get a big run crossing the 50 with a few seconds left, and you say, well, hey, let's take a shot now. Well, they did. It was picked off, and it gave the ball back to Sikeston that one last time. Herculaneum threw a good ball, but Daniel Lawrence, the guy that scored the touchdown, he was the player of the game for Sikeston. The only guy to score for them, had 4 catches and 82 yards, had an interception, and then also had an exciting punt return as well. Very, very good athlete for the Bulldogs. I thought it was interesting that only 84 yards of total offense for the Bulldogs in the first half. 60 of them came on that play. So, I mean, you take a look at what the Farmington defense did overall. Pretty impressive. They held them to only 24 yards outside of that play. And all told, the Bulldogs only rushed for 6 yards on the night, once again underscoring the dominance of the Lions there.
Yeah, pretty impressive stuff by that Farmington defense. Chad, just overall thoughts on the ballgame and really overall thoughts on this Farmington team now 3 weeks through the season.
Well, Eric Krupe was happy with the win in week 2 over Potosi. He was not happy with the execution, though. So he feels like that they did clean up some of that execution. This week, you could hear that echoed in the sentiments of Bodkin when we talked to him after the ball game. So, it's an improving team. It's a team that had some critical pieces returning, but also had some critical pieces graduate from last year. And I think they're kind of learning what life is like, trying to replace some essential parts from a year ago.
Well, for Farmington, win marks the 5th in a row in the series against Sikeston. Farmington now 3-0, and they are going to be taking on St. Dominic here this week, and that is going to be a game on the road for the Knights. Sikeston now 2-1. They'll be hosting Poplar Bluff. So those are our first 2 games of the day. We'll take a timeout. When we come back, we'll go ahead and take a look at the KJFF game that Nathan had a chance to call, and also the SportStream game that Stephen Campbell had a chance to call. So we'll take a timeout and be back in a moment here on J98.
For more than 80 years, Prairie Farms has been the name trusted by more consumers for quality dairy. Reach for the best and reach for Prairie Farms. Whole yogurt.
Yeah, message him and say message him and say we'll come to him next time.
Creamy whole milk yogurt and flavors for the love.
How long of
All
a
the
break do you want to
natural
take?
flavor you're looking for, and none of the artificial growth hormones, flavors, and colors. Whole milk yogurt made with 100% real milk, only from Prairie Farms.
Hi, this is Brad Smith with Lucas Smith Tractor Center.
How long of a break do you want to take?
2500 4x4, big 6.4 Hemi.
Go for like 4 minutes.
MSRP.
All right, sounds good.
LucasSmith.com.
So who's there, Steven?
See the difference, the Munganast difference at Dave Munganast Indian Motorcycle of St. Louis on South Lindbergh. Hi, this is Jeff Jensen. Check out our end of summer clearance event right away on select new 2019 Indians. On select units, take advantage of available 2.99% APR financing for 5 full years with approved credit. We even have model year closeout pricing on select.
So I know Jet and catcher side. I don't know Jake Murray though. See a lineman.
Available with 2.99% APR for 60 months and up
I think
to
he's a
$2,000
lineman.
customer cash. That's right, 2.99%.
I don't know if I'd be able to do that. I can pull it up real quick.
Indian Motorcycle of St. Louis is your headquarters for summer riding. See us today on South Lindbergh or shop 24/7 at MunganastMotorsports.com. Come see the difference, the Indian motorcycle difference at Dave Munganast Indian Motorcycle of St. Louis.
America's tastes go from sea to shining sea. But this summer, American taste buds will unite around steak, whether for a barbecue or dinner for 2. Steak answers the call with plenty of sizzle. So raise your grilling tongs, salute an American icon, and together proclaim United We Steak. Join America at UnitedWeSteak.com. Beef.
But my
it's
mic,
what's
no,
for dinner. Funded
my
by
mic wasn't on.
farmers and ranchers.
Champions
Oh.
are made here
Turn it off then.
on our courts, on our fields, and in our classrooms. Why settle for ordinary when you could be part of greatness? Mineral, area, power. Become a Cardinal today.
Purchasing a hot
60
tub is
seconds.
one of the best decisions you can make for you and your family. Hi, I'm Megan Osbar, manager of Home Pools and Spas in Ludington. There's nothing more rejuvenating than stepping into your own spa, transcending into luxurious and therapeutic relaxation. If you are considering purchasing a hot tub, I invite you to stop in and see what we can do for you. We are Home Pools and Spas on the outer road just south of Ludington.
Home is where the fun everybody's going home. Pool and spa. This is
30
Dr.
seconds.
Karen Nelson at Hearing Care Partners. We hope you don't miss a single thing this sports season. Stop by for a free hearing screening so you'll hear every play and the person sitting right next to you. One of the best parts of the game is chatting with old friends
10
and making
seconds.
new ones. We wish all our local players a safe and healthy sports season. It's Hearing Care Partners. Find us online at hearingcarepartners.com.
You guys there?
Welcome back here on the Coles Tractor and Equipment Football Roundtable. I'm Brandon Pavlina. We've got Jake Reed back in the studio, spinning the dials for the first time by himself. He's got Jacob Vincent headed back that direction to help him out, and we have some Rebels on the line with us. We've got the head coach, Corey Schweiss, with us. We've also got a couple of players as we will forego our look back at the last couple of games from this past week, and we will do that a little bit later on, as now we'll be joined here by the head coach of the Central Rebels, Corey Schweiss, and we'll also be joined by Jake Murray. He is a lineman and a defensive lineman for the Rebels. Also, Colton Ketcherside, another one of the linemen up front, and then the quarterback, Jet Bridges, here with us. Guys, we appreciate you guys joining us here today. How you guys doing?
Doing good.
All right. Well, hey, you guys are coming off a nice win. Coach Schweiss, I'll start with you, man. This team 3-0 on the season so far and playing really some good football. Big offensive performance for you guys once again, though. What do you like about what you're seeing from that offensive group so far this year?
Well, I thought we played our best game up front Friday night against probably the best competition we had played yet this year. So it was good to see that those guys coming along the way they've come along, and we're making progress. And that's kind of what I wanted to see after 3 weeks of the season. I wanted to see a lot of progress, and I'm seeing that. And I feel like if those guys can do the job up front, we've got some playmakers behind them to get the job done.
Yeah, nice win, 35-14 over Northwest on Friday.
Coach, how challenging has it been for you and your staff basically resetting at the beginning of the week, because you haven't really known who your opponent is? All your schedule so far has been brand new every week, and so you get a sense of some teams maybe in the off season, or you scout ahead or whatever, or even in the weekend, but you haven't really had the benefit of that this year.
Yeah, it's been really crazy. It's been really weird. This past week was really weird because we come in Monday not knowing if we were going to have a game on Friday. But we've spent a lot of time on weekends trying to find opponents instead of getting ready to play opponents, which has really been weird for us. But our coaches and our players have made a lot of adjustments during the week. A lot of adjustments during the game, and I can't say enough about what they've all been able to do.
Let's talk to some of these players that we have joining us here. We'll start off with the big guys up front because, Jet, to be fair, man, you get a lot of love, man. You're the quarterback. I know that you're getting a lot of shine so far this year, so let's talk to the other guys up front who have been carving the lanes. We'll start with Colton Ketcherside. Colton, I know you're a senior, one of the leaders of this team so far. What are your thoughts on this offensive group so far? I mean, with Jet running the show, Deshaun toting the rock, you guys throwing blocks up front. What do you like about how this offense looks so far this year?
Oh, I think the offense looks great. I think up front we're getting better each and every week, and with that we can let Deshaun and do what he does and make lanes for him, and he runs the ball real well. So whenever we create those, we don't have to do much for him, but whenever we get a little hole in there, he finds a seam, and not many people can catch him after that. So that's always good. And Jet does a great job back there at quarterback. So up front we're getting better, and as we get better, the whole team gets better.
That's what I like to hear, man. You got to have those guys up front really doing their jobs in order for everything else to go right. And, Jake, I'll ask you a similar question. Colton right there mentioned Deshaun and his performance on Friday night, and, of course, it was a record-setting performance for him with 381 yards on the ground. Jake, tell me about what it was like blocking for him that night and what it was, how you felt like the team played that night with Deshaun running the ball all over the place. Murray, were you there? Did I lose you? All right, I may have lost Murray. So we'll direct it back over to Jet then, because Jet, as I said, he's the starting quarterback now for the first time this season. He is, of course, the brother of Jake Bridges. Jet, I want to know from you, man, 3 games in as the starting quarterback, how do you feel like you're playing so far, and how do you feel like the offense is shaping up?
Personally, I feel like I'm all right now. I feel like there's certain things I could be doing a lot better, and that's just beginning of the season. I can always get better doing things like personally, and then our offense, I think like we're progressing every other week, and we're just getting better and better, and then getting stuff more packed down. So I feel like by the end of this whole season, I feel like we'll be able to be locked in and everything be working swift and quick.
And it seems like that you guys are being able to throw the ball around the field a little bit, which is something that I know when I talked to you guys this summer you were hoping to be able to do. But tell me about the receivers here and how they've been able to perform so far this year, Jet.
Oh, we got a really good receiving core with me. We have a couple starters, Grant Mannion, Joe Bryant, Ruger Sutton, Slade Twice, and I feel like any one of those receivers, they can be one-on-one receivers, and I can give them the ball and they can make a play no matter what I do. And so I feel like they have more room to just make a play, and then once they make a play, and then it's all them. Once you got to give them the ball.
Coach Swice, Chad here. I remember when I first came here, I think it was 9 or 10 years ago, and I talked to you about your team. I came to your training camp, talked to you about your team for the previous year. You actually had 3 1,000-yard rushers. And then a few years after that, Jake rewrote all the passing records there at Central, and now, you've got a great blend of the run and the pass with Deshaun going nuts. But my question is that some coaches prefer a system and they plug guys into that. Other coaches will assess the talent that they have, and then they'll tailor what they do each year to kind of best utilize that talent. And it seems like that's what you guys do is figure out what talent you have each year, and then you really design your offense based upon that. Can you kind of talk about the process of how you go about doing that every year?
Yeah. So I feel like if you're coaching at a college, I think you have the ability to recruit kids that fit your system, and I think it's easier to kind of keep the system that you have. But at the high school level, you kind of just get what you get. So I just feel like, if you're going to utilize your players to the best of their ability, you as a coach have to kind of make adjustments to your personnel. And I think one of the guys I've always kind of looked up to, obviously my coach when I was in high school, Coach Bacon, who's now the athletic director at Farmington, did a great job of that, when we were in high school. And then Bobby Weiler, who coached at Valley Catholic before Coach Bacon and then went to St. John, he did that all the time. And when I was coaching against Bobby Weiler over at St. John, it's just one of those things you just kind of pick up and you learn to do. And if you're going to utilize your kids the best that you can utilize them, I think it only makes sense to try to change what you do offensively if it fits to what your kids can do. With that being said, that's not always easy because, sometimes you're asking kids to learn 2 different systems, and it's not like at college when you have all kinds of time. It's not like a job. So it's hard, but the kids have been able to pick it up pretty quick. It took us a little bit longer than I thought it would, or than I anticipated, but they're starting to pick it up now, and I think we're going to start making a lot of progress in the next couple weeks.
And it looks like here we're joined by Ruger Sutton as well, as he is hopped on. Steven, can I get confirmation? Is Ruger Sutton there? Ruger Sutton is there. Ruger, we appreciate you joining us too, man. So I know that you guys, we've been talking about the offense. We've been talking about Jet Bridges. I know you're one of the guys who gets a chance to go out there, run around, and catch some passes. So I want to know your thoughts on this new look offense that you guys are running and how you think things are going so far.
Man, I love it. We have a bunch of guys that work in open field, so when Jet gives us the opportunity to work, we just enjoy doing it.
And let's talk a little bit about the defensive side as well, because we've hammered home that you guys are just running the ball and doing some good things on the offensive side. But Colton, I'll go back to you. I know you get a chance to play in a little bit on the defensive side of the ball as well. I mean, you guys have been doing a good job on the defensive side. I mean, let's go back to even this past week, a good Northwest team holding them to 14. Talk to me a little bit, Colton, about the defensive group and how you feel like those younger guys that come up, some of the junior class, how they're playing so far this year.
The younger guys have came up and filled shoes wonderfully. They 2 new middle linebackers this year with Dylan and Corbin. I think they really played great last Friday night. We had a big, strong, powerful running team that we had to play, and they really stepped up to the table, and they were getting in, and they were getting gritty, and they were making plays. And I think overall as a defense, we're going to continue to get better. And, a lot of people are going to be looking at our offense this year, but I think our defense is going to be just as good as our offense is.
And Ruger, how about you, man? I mean, I know you get a little chance on that side of the ball too. Talk to me a little bit about that defense, man, and what you guys have been able to do so far.
I mean, we got some tough kids. Our linebackers, they like to hit. Our safeties, I mean, we got some problems in the back end, but we're working on it, fixing it. We have a bunch of good athletes. Joe Bryant, Hakeem Liddell, Mason, Williams. They're all good athletes. So when we figure it out in the back end, I think we'll be great defensively.
Well, hey, I mean, if you guys, a lot of season still left to patch up some things, but I'll tell you what, from the way you guys have been playing some ball so far, I think some good things are in the future for the Central Rebels football team. And Coach Schweiss, I want to bring it back to you here and talk a little bit more about this game from the past week. Northwest is a darn good football team, and I know when I had a chance to talk to you, you really liked what Coach Tenyus has been able to do with that program. If you want to just talk a little bit more about what you saw from Northwest on Friday night and how they've been able to progress as a program.
Well, we had a chance to play them about 6-7 years ago in a home and away series, and that was when we had those two real good football teams, and I really didn't know what to expect playing one of the biggest teams in the state back then, and we were able to handle them pretty well a few years back, but we're not quite where we were then, and Northwest is quite a bit better than they were then, and I got to give Coach a lot of credit to bring those guys where they're at. I think they've gotten better every year he's been there. They're a big physical football team. I'm not going to lie, I was a little worried going into that game. I didn't know if we'd be able to hold up against them. We bent in that game, but we didn't break. I think we ended up with like 5 or 6 red zone stops. So they had the ball all night long. I think we only ran Deshaun had 24 carries, and I think Jet had 9, so 33 carries there, and then I think we only threw it 9 times. So we only ran 42 offensive plays in that game. They had the ball all night long. They have some running backs that are legit good. I mean, they're really good. And the quarterback threw some good balls, and we were fortunate. Their receivers dropped some big plays, which helped us. And we were missing Coach Jones in that game, which I think he's one of the best defensive coaches probably in Southeast Missouri, and that kind of hurt us a little bit defensively. But our other defensive coaches, Coach Casey and Coach Aholt, they really stepped up and had a good week of practice. So, I got to give a lot of credit to the players and coaches, but Northwest has definitely come a long way.
Coach, I know we had some comments from you and did a story on Deshaun's game, and we wanted to spread the love all around the team. But let's go ahead and highlight it. This is our football show, and our chance to recap what happened over the past week. And the biggest thing that happened was Deshaun Welch breaking your rushing record this week. Did you see it early that he would have a chance at that? And if you could just kind of describe the type of back he is, and if you knew maybe this type of performance maybe was possible out of him.
Yeah, I was hoping he would be able to be on tonight, so you could ask him those questions, but he had some other engagements. So, anyway, Deshaun he's a tremendous running back. I think he's probably the best one. I've coached some good ones over the years, but he's got the 3 things, and I talk about it all the time. If you have these 3 things, you're going to be pretty electric. He's got the speed, he's got the vision, and he's got the power. So, with those 3 things, he's pretty dynamic. In that game going into it, I had watched, obviously we had watched on film, and they played with a light box, but they're big and their linebackers were good. So they were able to do that. And I thought, they may be able to do it against us. I wasn't for sure, but I knew with our 5 linemen, if we could get a hat on a hat against their 5 in the box that they were going to put in the box, we'd have our chances. And, our linemen did their job, and Deshaun did the rest. A couple of those he really didn't get touched on. And then the other ones, he got through with the initial surge because of our line, but that he was able to do the rest by breaking tackles and just using his speed to elude everybody else. But he's a special kid. He had 5 carries in that game for over 300 yards. His 4 touchdowns were all over 57 yards. He had another 46-yarder to set up Jet's score. So he had 5 carries of 46 yards or more in that game, and that's the thing that he can do. He brings a lot to the table. The line obviously probably likes blocking for somebody like that, because when they make their blocks, good things can happen. And honestly, running the spread like that, the receivers have to do a good job blocking too to make that go. So you got to give the whole offense credit. I'm sure Deshaun was here tonight talking for you. He would for sure give all those guys credit too.
Well, we'll give Jet Bridges a chance there because I know he's got to be appreciative to have an opportunity to have Deshaun at his hip. So a couple more quick questions here. Jet, for you, man, just what is it like having Deshaun in the backfield with you? And I know when I had a chance to talk to you this summer, we felt like the offensive line was going to be a strength. Talk to me about the O-line and how you feel like they're shaping up as well.
The O-line, man, they're doing really well lately the past couple games. I mean, every once in a while there's something that's they're not talking, and that's the only thing that's been bad. But other than that, I mean, they're making great holes, and Deshaun has all the room to make a play and run up right at the seam. And also, whenever they get to Deshaun, and they're always making plays for me. So I mean,
and how nice is it for you to be able to have Deshaun back there, where you could just get him the ball and let him go to work?
And that's a relief. I mean, always feel like if the pass ain't working, then I can always give it to Deshaun. Deshaun's going to make something happen. He's just like kind of electric player. He's always been that way since I've had him on every other team I've been with him. He's always
Good
been
stuff,
just like
man. Well,
some
we
person.
appreciate you guys joining us here today. The final thing is for Coach Schweiss here. Coach Schweiss will look ahead to this weekend. Cuba, what do you know about them? They just beat a pretty good Jefferson football team. So what do you know about Cuba? What do you expect to see from them come Friday night?
They're not bad. They have some athletes. They've got some really good players on their team. So, that Jefferson game, they kind of showed you how electric they could be. That was kind of a back and forth football game, but Jefferson's pretty good, pretty talented football team, and they were able to take that one from them. They had a little hiccup this past week against Owensville, but we're expecting it to be a dogfight. I think our kids and we kind of all understand that where we're at right now is not where we want to be. We have to keep getting better, and it's not. I don't think any week for us is going to be a real easy week this year. We're just going to have to keep working, and hopefully at the end of the season we get where we want to get to. But it'll be a work in progress for us for sure.
Coach, we appreciate your time, and players, we appreciate your time as well. Thank you guys for joining us here.
Thank you.
All right, thanks. I got to give a
Thanks
shout
for
out.
having us.
Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead, Coach. Hey, what was the shout out, Coach?
I have to give a shout out to Concord, one of my buddies from Valley Catholic back in the day, and every time I'm on this show, he sends me a text, so I got to give him a shout out.
Oh, there you go. We appreciate it, Coach. All right, Coach Schweiss and the Central Rebels joining us here on the Coles Tractor and Equipment Football Roundtable. We'll take a time out and be back with more. Stick around.
KTJJ Farmington, Festus, Crystal City, St. Genevieve. The Boot.
From shredding to mailboxing, the UPS store does everything for small business, even impressing your customers. When you have your packages professionally packed by our certified packing experts and backed with the pack and ship guarantee to make sure your business looks outstanding. The UPS store, everything for small business. And of course, shipping. The UPS store franchise locations are independently owned and operated. Services, pricing, and hours may vary. See Center for details.
Hi, this is Jim, owner of the UPS
Brandon,
store.
how long of a break
See
do
us
you
now
want?
at our new location at 650 North Creek Drive next to Tiger Express Car Wash.
The Jefferson County YMCA has adapted to help you stay connected and active. Hi, this is Samantha Robertson. We've enhanced our safety measures, improved our cleaning procedures, and expanded our virtual options to keep you connected at the Y, at home, or on the go. Members enjoy state-of-the-art fitness equipment, free group exercise and aquatics classes, discounts on paid programs including youth sports, swim lessons, childcare, and more. When you join by September 30th, you'll pay no joining fee and receive Y program bucks. Join online at gwrymca.org/join, call 636-931-9622, or stop by the Y today.
Hi,
Brandon,
it's
how long
Hannah.
do you
At
break
Coles
do you
Tractor
wanna
and
do?
Equipment, we brought back one of the popular tractor deals from last summer. Customers keep asking for us to bring it back, so here it is. Get the 35 horsepower shuttle shift four-wheel drive diesel tractor with the front loader, the 5-foot brush hog, and the 5-foot box blade, plus the 18-foot deluxe flatbed car hauler trailer for only $21,495. Oh, but wait, you also get the free, that's right, you will get the free 2700 PSI pressure washer and 2 ratchet tie downs. And of course, the best 6-year parts and labor warranty from LS, the major brand maker that you already know and love. So let me recap. Get the tractor, loader, brush hog, box blade, flatbed trailer, all for only $21,495. Plus the free pressure washer and 2 ratchet tie downs. Financing available on site. Just give us a call at 573-756-4353 and see us on Facebook at Coles Tractor and Equipment. Don't just follow the herd, lead the herd with LS Tractors and Coles Tractor and Equipment. Highway 32, just outside of Farmington.
When it's all said and done, what really matters? For Serenity Hospice Care patient Jack, hospice isn't about giving up. It's not about the end. It's about right now. It's about spending precious time with the people we love.
Come on, Grandpa.
And the little moments that create lasting memories. It's focusing on what's important to you and remembering life is beautiful in all stages.
So what do sports and Patsy's Furniture in Park Hills have in common? Well,
30
if you want
seconds,
to hit a
guys.
home run with your new furniture, you need to see Chris and Jamie at Patsy's Furniture. And if you want to score a touchdown with your new furniture, hey, see Chris and Jamie. And if you like working with the home team, well, I think you know by now, you need Chris and Jamie at Patsy's Furniture. Hey, that's where I go. They have a great selection, friendly people, and great pricing. So score a touchdown, hit a home run. Heck, just head to Patsy's Furniture in Park Hills, right off Highway 67 at the Parkway Drive exit. Now that's a winner.
Welcome back here on the Coles Tractor and Equipment Football Roundtable. We're live from Applebee's in Farmington. I'm Brandon Pavlina alongside Nathan Gertz, Chad Speaker, and Stephen Kabler. Did I say Nathan twice? Did I say Stephen twice? I don't know.
But they got good iced tea here. I'm going to tell you that right now.
They absolutely do. And you got to come and
Good
hang
iced
out with us here at Applebee's in Farmington. They got delicious food, great service, and you can see our smiling faces right as you walk in the door. We appreciate the Central Rebels and Corey Schweiss for joining us here on the program just a moment ago. Always appreciate having the players and the coaches on. This year, of course, it's a little bit different having to do it remotely, doing it virtually. We're very used to having the players and coaches here at Applebee's with us, but Stephen Kabler deserves the highest of praise and a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for helping to make all that possible, because he is spinning the dials and bringing the show to you. So, Stephen, you're the man over there.
Big shout out Kay Brooks for getting it all together,
Yeah.
man. Kevin Brooks, of course. But yeah, I appreciate that. This is fun for me, man. I love doing this sort of stuff.
So let's go back and take a look at some of the other broadcast games of the week as Nathan Gertz is sitting alongside. He's been awfully quiet so far, but he's got a little story to tell, and that's about the game that he had this weekend. It was a lopsided affair similar to the one that Jacob Benson had. As for Nathan on KJFF here this week, Jefferson, the Blue Jays, they got some of their top talent back, and they didn't disappoint. 54-0, the final score. They win over Herculaneum on Friday on KJFF. Senior Colby Ott, he missed last week's loss to Cuba, but he wasted no time in making an impact as he used the Blue Jays' opening drive and his first touch to announce his return.
They give it on the sweep, left tackle. Ott has room. Squeezes inside the 15. Drags guys inside the 10. Stays on his feet inside the 5 and spins into the end zone. Touchdown, Jefferson. Colby Ott just spun free out of it and waltzes into the end zone.
So Ott, later on in the game, he caught a pair of touchdowns and finished with 141 yards from scrimmage, Nathan. It seemed like they were glad to have Ott back on the field.
He's such a dynamic playmaker. Both sides of the ball defensively. He's been an all-state DB the last 2 years, and he came up with a pick later on in the game as well. Yeah, he's just an incredibly gifted athlete and a guy that gives them a chance to stretch you and take you over the top off play action when they don't want to run the football.
Well, I mean, he wasted no time. I mean, did he look as like he was ready to run and ready to go? I mean, you get the first touch of the ball game, you take it to the house. That means you're probably ready to go.
Oh yeah, no, he was absolutely in full strength and full health, and he was out there making some big plays from the word go, like you said. And when he is at full strength, obviously, he can be such a force. And seemingly every time he touched the football on offense on Friday night, he made a big play.
And there was another Blue Jays senior that had a monster night. It was Dylan Schnitzler as he returned to the field as well and showed off his ability right away on the game's second touchdown.
They pitch it on the sweep. Here's Dylan Schnitzler. Bounces off one tackle. Jukes a man out inside the 25. Down into the 20. Cuts back inside the 15. Inside the 10. Drags past the tackler and walks into the end zone. Touchdown, Jefferson. What a run by Dylan Schnitzler.
So you win 54-0. You're going to have some pretty lopsided and pretty jump out at you box score numbers. And Dylan Schnitzler was another one of those players who had that. 4 touchdowns on the night for Dylan Schnitzler, 128 yards. You heard the first one right there. He sounded like he was having himself a whale of a game.
I mean, I've always known him as sort of one of those guys that they line up at the fullback in that double wing look a lot of times, or even if they use him as the wingback, they'll try to just lower the shoulder and get 3 or 4 yards. He showed a little wiggle. I mean, he had some jump. He had some great cuts to make some guys miss. I mean, to do what he did after missing last week against Cuba and to do what he did on just 9 carries, I mean, he was just phenomenal and a big part of why Jefferson was able to go out there and just race out to that big lead as fast as they did. on top of winning as big as they did.
So impressive performances from the two seniors, Ott and Schnitzler. And Blue Jays head coach Alex Rugley, he said that he knew early in the week that his team was raring and ready to go.
Our kids came out with a sense of urgency tonight, and that was huge. And it started with our preparation on Monday. We had a great Labor on Labor Day practice, what we call it, and we had a really good one. And then Tuesday, our JVers played, but we still had a great film day and just we call it perfect play day. And then Wednesday, Thursday, we had a great 2 days of preparation. And it started there with that sense of urgency.
I got to imagine Coach Rugley was happy with the performance in a bounce-back win after falling to a good Cuba team the week prior. I have to imagine Coach Rugley was pleased with his team's performance.
I mean, I'm sure he's thrilled, but at the same time, I think he probably knew coming in based on the fact that this team is older and they're full of juniors and seniors. And the result of that is they were probably pretty vocal and just up front with him saying we were disappointed in how we played against Cuba and how we let that thing slip away in the third quarter. And obviously, they showed themselves to be extremely motivated, and they took a Herculaneum team that is really young under Cody Hunter and is still just trying to figure out how to play the game of football. And they raced out to a lead and didn't allow that thing to get dragged in the mud the way it did a year ago when those two teams met. Deeply impressed with what they did and really looking forward to seeing if they can build on that now going forward, especially this next week.
Yeah, it's going to be a really great game. We're going to have coverage of the game. Jefferson and I'm going to miss it.
St. Pius.
Yeah, St. Pius. I was going to say that's going to be a huge one coming up on Friday. We'll have it on KJFF. Looking forward to that one. Herky, they're 0-3. Jefferson now 2-1 as they win their I-55 conference opener. Again, Blue Jays back at home next week against Pius. We'll have it on KJFF. Herculaneum is going to be off for a couple of weeks now as they have had a COVID issue with the team. So we will not see the Black Cats for a couple of weeks, and they will remain at 0-3. And then we'll go to our final game that we had broadcast on our regional radio airwaves, and it was the one that the Texan gingered man over on the end of the table over there, Stephen Kapler, had a chance to call. It was Potosi and Fredericktown, and this one was one of the closer games that we had on the airwaves over the weekend, or on Friday rather. Potosi, they improved to 2-1 on the young season as they got off to a 28-6 victory over Fredericktown, and it was Trojan starting quarterback Andrew Coleman who had to sit out the game because he was under quarantine, and it was his younger brother Blake who stepped up to the duties in stride. Blake Coleman, he threw for 3 touchdowns in the night and led the offense with confidence.
2 receivers either side. Coleman takes the snap looking for the quick throw to the outside, and it's caught. That's a touchdown. That's Blake Meesey. The 1-yard touchdown catch. Here's the snap to Coleman. Looking over the middle. Got a man. It's caught. That'll be down to the 5. He's fighting his way. Breaking tackles into the end zone. That's Gavin Portell. 20-yard touchdown reception. Coleman takes the snap. Play action, looking over the middle, nothing doing, has to roll out. Now he finds Malachi Peppers, who makes a man miss, and that's into the end zone. 10-yard touchdown pass from Blake Coleman to Malachi Peppers.
Just a sophomore, Blake Coleman steps in for his older brother and throws 3 touchdowns on the night, Steven, and you said he threw a darn good ball.
Yeah, I mean, didn't look like he was scared of the situation. He was didn't look like he was nervous at all from first snap to last snap. He was calm, cool, and collected, and just was ready to rock and roll. And his, what I have to say is his deep ball, his downfield ball was just pretty. Man, that's all you could say about it. It was accurate. He had a few throws that he just kind of overcooked and overthrew a little bit, but for the most part, everything was accurate. And just a sophomore, I mean, that Potosi Trojans team is in good hands at the quarterback position in the next few years.
You know, I wonder a couple of things. First of all, your older brother was the quarterback, right? So he's I
is the quarterback.
Well, not that night he wasn't. He was before, right? But I'm wondering if Andrew is there, saying, "Hey, you're going to be fine." To have the support of your older brother, who is the guy, to me would make you feel more comfortable.
You would hope
in playing.
Certainly.
Part 2 is what's that house like this week?
Right.
Because if I'm Blake, I'm chirping at Andrew's ear. You know how little brothers are.
Yeah, of course.
Well, I talked to head coach Dylan Wyrick after the game, and he was talking a little bit about how they split reps pretty evenly in practice because Wyrick wanted to have Blake in that, just in case, especially in the world that we're in now where you don't even know if you're going to be playing. You don't know if you have people quarantining. So he was happy to have Blake splitting reps with his older brother. And I'm sure that's actually probably a good thing in the household. Maybe not necessarily in this situation this week, but beforehand thinking, Well, they can go over film together. They can go over the playbook together, stuff like that.
Well, that's good on Coach Wyrick then. So,
Yeah.
check mark for him.
Regardless of how the communication broke down between them leading up to this, it turned out that really didn't have a whole lot of time to even show any kind of support one way or another, because Coleman, you'll hear here. Wow. He said he had just one day of practice to prepare for this game, and after his team got the win, he had people to thank.
At first, I was a little nervous, but then after I realized I had to step up, I just tried to get more comfortable with the team and stuff. I just want to thank my linemen and stuff tonight, too, for giving me a really good pocket to throw in.
Well, you sound like a young kid sounding like a veteran.
Right.
Look at his lineman.
Yeah,
He's got it figured out.
That's the first thing he went to was thanking his lineman after the game. But yeah, and then I asked him, of course, the question, how long did you have to prepare for this? And he just gave the one word. He just said one with a big old grin on his face, like, yeah, I only had one week to do this, and I was ready to rock and roll. So supremely confident kid, very talented, very calm, cool, and collected in the situation.
Well, and he got high praise from Dylan Wyrick, who said some really good things after the game about his young quarterback.
Blake's going to be the guy for the next couple of years. So we were very proud to see him stick in there and not be too frazzled. Take some pressure and throw the ball under some heat and put it where he needed to put it and hit the open receiver. And he had himself a night. I mean, I tell you what, he's a great kid, and we're just real proud of him.
That might be the biggest story of the Friday night was Blake Coleman stepping in for his older brother and performing so well. But the receivers sounded like they did some good things as well.
Yeah, the receivers were getting open, really just running free down the field whenever they were on go routes, and then taking advantage of open zone holes in the middle of the field. And whenever the ball is getting put on you pretty perfectly in stride, you can make a lot of plays and do a lot of things with it. Another thing you got to talk about is the multitude of injuries on the other side of the field. We'll get to that in a little bit when we talk about Fredericktown. But overall, for this Potosi team, everything was working for them.
So let's keep it going. Potosi, they gave up 6 points tonight, bringing their season total just 16 points. Been up through 3 games. That defense has been good. Wyrick knows his defense is a major strength of this team.
We had a shutout for week 1, held Farmington to 10 points, and tonight we held Fredericktown to 6. I tell you what, Aaron Urick, our defensive coordinator, does a great job, and just very proud of him and those guys and all that they do and what they were able to accomplish tonight.
And then, as Steven mentioned, on the other side of the ball, the Black Cats, they were plagued by injuries all night. Their starting quarterback, Evan Burrows, and their backup quarterback, Carter Cheney, went down in the first half and would not return. Wide receivers Hunter Hennon and Lane Sykes put in time at quarterback. But, I mean, at that point, you're back to third, fourth string quarterbacks. Head coach Chuck Ford says he knew that injuries were tough, but his team fought all night.
I'm proud of the way they played the second half. I told them at the end of the game, you just started out that way, played that hard from the jump, it might have been a different story. We came into the game without our top running back, and we knew we had to fight a lot harder to do it. And we just didn't do it in the first half. Second half, we looked pretty decent.
So, I mean, the injury is obviously a big story for Fredericktown and that offense not being able to get going.
Right. Well, you don't have Malachi Kyle. He was out disciplinary reasons. And then all of a sudden you get your two quarterbacks. One, you lose your senior quarterback, so then you have to throw in a freshman in there. He goes down maybe 7 minutes later, and then you throw in a wide receiver who takes you to the half. He comes back in and gets knocked out of the game for a little while within 3 or 4 minutes in the second half. And so then you throw in Lane Sykes, who eventually goes down the field and puts some points on the board. And then it was night. We did see Hunter Hennon, who took some snaps at quarterback. He did come back and play more wide receiver when they put Lane Sykes in. So, wish all those young men the best and a speedy recovery, of course. But it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough not only to put up points against the Potosi defense, but without your starting running back and your top 2 quarterbacks.
2-1 Potosi, and Fredericktown now 1-2. Potosi next St. John. Fredericktown, they're going to be taking on Perryville. So that's a look back at our games that we had broadcast on our airwaves. We'll take a timeout. When we come back, we'll look back at the rest of the games from week 3 around the high school football season here in Southeast Missouri on the Coles Tractor and Equipment Football Roundtable.
Whatever your educational goals are, you can achieve them at Jefferson College. With caring faculty, convenient locations, and award-winning academic programs, your future is Jefferson College's focus. To learn more, call 636-797-3000 or visit jeffco.edu for a complete list of degrees and programs. Enroll now.
For higher education, for higher expectations, Jefferson College, Jefferson College, and you.
Hi, this is Brad Smith at your home, the No Bull Deal, Lucas Smith Chrysler Center. What is the No Bull Deal? It's simple. It's a deal no other Chrysler, Dodge, Ram, or Jeep dealer offers. Sure, you can shop around, but we're confident that you will come home to our way of doing business. We take the nationally advertised programs one step further and offer you the lowest locally advertised price, and we guarantee it. So whether you see us first or see us last, we are the dealer that will give you the best No Bull deal and service anywhere. We are Lucas Smith Chrysler Center in Festus, or check us out at lucasmith.com.
Would you like to make paying for your groceries faster? Hi, Paul Hale here with New Era Bank. We now offer two different methods for your digital wallet, Apple Pay and now Google Pay. Both create a much safer and more secure way of paying. Best of all, they are much faster than the traditional insert your card and wait like you currently do. Simply hold the phone near the card reader and click the phone to pay, and you're done. Visit our website at www.newerabank.com for more information today. New Era Bank, member FDIC.
As a leader in healthcare and wellness in Jefferson County and the surrounding area, ComTree is open to serve you and your family. In addition to in-person appointments, we are excited to offer video virtual visits to our current and many new patients. Our behavioral health and primary care patient portal allows you to message your provider, request medication refills, and review medical records. Safety is our highest priority for in-person visits. We are taking additional precautionary measures to protect you, your family, and our staff. Together, we are changing the landscape of healthcare. Thank you for being a member of the ComTree family tree.
Make it a great family night at Applebee's Bar and Grill in Farmington. Hi, my name is Amy Cousins, General Manager of your local store. Maybe start out with a couple of appetizers, boneless wings, onion rings, mozzarella sticks, spinach artichoke dip, chicken quesadilla. There's so much to choose from. Let the kids pick from the kids menu, then for yourself, choose one of our favorites. Steaks, ribs, seafood, pasta, we have it all. Go to Applebee's.com for the full menu and look for our happy hour prices. Doing good in the neighborhood, Applebee's Bar and Grill in Farmington.
Add the taste of fresh produce to your table when you shop Richard's Produce in Festus. All the season's freshest fruits and vegetables like Missouri-grown watermelon and apples, home-grown Amish tomatoes, and home-grown veggies. Stop in and pick up fresh-cut produce and coming soon items for your fall decorations, from pumpkins, gourds, corn stalks, and straw to mums in a variety of colors and sizes. For farm fresh produce any time of year, stop by Richard's Produce, just off Veterans Highway on North Creek Drive in Festus. Look for their Red Barn building, open 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. daily.
At Toyota, today's the day to score a great deal. That means today's the day to take a ride in your thrilling new Camry. Today's the day to scale new heights in your powerful new RAV4 Hybrid. Or maybe today's the day to turn heads in your stylish new Corolla. Today's the perfect day to tackle a new outdoor project in your tough new Tundra. Today might even be the day to go as far as the road will take you with the epic range of your new Highlander Hybrid. Today's the day to save on all your favorites like the Toyota Camry, Corolla, RAV4, Highlander, Tundra, and more. But hurry, this offer ends soon. Head into your Toyota dealer. 15 seconds. Toyota. Let's go places. Participating dealers only.
See Twin City Toyota, I-55 at the Herculaneum Auto Mall exit, or visit them online at twincitytoyota.com.
Welcome back here on the Coles Tractor and Equipment Football Roundtable. We're live from Applebee's in Farmington. I'm Brandon Pavlina alongside the rest of the regional radio sports crew, minus Vinny. We got Nathan Gertz, we've got Chad Speaker, we've got Steven Kapler, who, as I told you, Steven is making things happen here at Applebee's, but I would be remiss not to mention the young man back at the studio helping us out, Jake Reed. He's doing a fantastic job back in the studio. Big shout out to Jake Reed. He is one of our new board ops working with us here at Regional Radio. So a big shout out to Jake Reed. Big thanks to him. Let's go ahead and take a look back at the rest of the games from week 3 around the high school football season in our area, as some good games to talk about. But we'll start off with one that was not so good, as Valley Catholic, they went out and they put an absolute beat down on St. Vincent. And there's a lot of qualifiers to this game. St. Vincent playing, of course, in their first game of the season. Valley is coming off a Class 1 defending state championship. St. Vincent, like I said, playing their first game of the season, they're gassed. A lot of things going against St. Vincent in that one, and they lose as Valley Catholic goes out. They win 63-7 over St. Vincent. Valley head coach Judd Nagger, he says it was their best game this year.
I thought we were, the most balanced that we've been. We did a good job running the ball as well as throwing the football. Special teams did a good job as well. We were able to score on a punt return, and then we had another long punt return, and kids just did a good job.
Well, if Coach Nagger's pleased and is saying that it's their best performance of the year, means they probably did something right.
Hard not to imagine that Chase Fowler continued to outplay really well, and hard not to imagine that those skill position guys wouldn't go out there. Not just a St. Vincent team that's kind of rusty, obviously, because they had to wait later in the year to open their season, but they had a big senior class a year ago. They lost some outstanding skill position players, especially, and their starting quarterback, Garrett Double R. So they're trying to find their identity on that side of the ball. It's not great when you're being asked to then try to match wits and match points with what Valley can do.
Exactly. Yeah, tough opponent for St. Vincent to open the season with.
Yeah, well, and it's also kind of scary whenever you've got a head coach who demands so much from his team and it has some success year in and year out, and then for the third game of the season for him to say that he really liked this team, that means this team is really good and really scary.
Well, they are. They're both of those things. They're going to be a fun team to see for the rest of the year. We'll have a couple more times where we get a chance to go see them. But for St. Vincent, on the other hand, again, their first game of the season, and their head coach, Tim Schumer, we love Tim Schumer around here. He's a good dude. But he said that a slow start did them in.
So it's definitely, kind of getting back to more normal by being able to play a game and, didn't jump out on the right foot. And it really hurt us going on. But at halftime, we talked about effort and just, giving our 110% effort. And they came back and responded a little bit and were able to put a score on in the second half.
And then, so it was just a lopsided game. Valley did what they did. St. Vincent, a tough opponent first week of the season. So 63-7, the final score, Valley on top over St. Vincent. Moving down the line, Fox got a nice win over St. Francis Borgia, 25-20. Fox head coach Brent Tinker, he says the win was a team effort.
Borgia's a tough team. They weren't going to stop playing at any point tonight. So they battled back into the game, and then extremely proud of our kids. We were able to go back out there and put some big drives together. We got to clean up a lot of stuff. The special teams did not have a great night. But, the attitude and the effort and the good mentality is there, so we'll be fine.
Well, Fox, they continue the schedule shuffle, but they continue winning.
I just think that the fact that they have so many veteran guys coming back who have had a ton of success prior meant that they were going to be able to weather whatever storm was thrown at them. And this year, it's obviously the jitterbug schedule. And they did such a nice job against a Borgia team that normally is a really top flight program. They did a great job of putting a fourth quarter drive together when they were trailing to go down and take the lead to get that win. The thing is, they expected to have this success. So even with the schedule shuffle, so I'm just really interested to see how much longer they can continue to do it here as they've done here through the first third of the regular season.
Yeah, things looking good for Fox so far, even as they continue to shake out the Magic 8-ball. They keep finding opponents, they keep beating them. So we'll see how long the Warriors can keep that up. And we'll keep it moving is Central and Northwest. We already told you we had a chance to catch up with Corey Schweiss. Central got a nice win over Northwest on Friday, 35-14. We'll hear from Corey Schweiss again right here real quick, as he said it was a tough game.
They're a big physical football team, had some really tough running backs and some really big linemen, and we knew it was going to be a dogfight coming up here tonight. But our kids really played hard. We made some mistakes again, which kind of hurt us, but our effort was really good, and I couldn't be more proud of them.
Of course, the big story of the night was junior running back Deshaun Welch, who pretty much got a gasp out of everybody at the studio when we talked to Coach Schweiss that night. He initially had said 373 yards on the ground, I believe, but they missed one carry in there. So Deshaun Welch sets the single game rushing record for the Central Rebels, a school record with 381 rushing yards. He broke the record that was previously held by Tyler Friend for 347 yards. Deshaun Welch is off and running, folks, and he is on pace for over 2,300 yards and 30 touchdowns in the regular season. I don't know that he's going to keep up that pace, but he is certainly a special player. So a hard time containing him on Friday. But Northwest and their head coach, Corey Tenyus, he says the yards were there in the game offensively. The points just weren't.
As an offense coordinator, I was a little frustrated. We had over 400 yards, 187 in the air. I know Chase Phelan, our sophomore running back, had 175, and we were able to get over 400 yards with the other backs, and he couldn't convert. I think if I go back and look at film, we probably had 4 drives all outside the 25, and we played hard, but we just didn't play well enough to win tonight.
Well, I mean, that's a good matchup for Central and Northwest there, but I think Central has just got a really darn good football team this year.
I hearing Coach Tenyus talk a little bit about being unable to convert, and Coach Schweiss kind of alluded when we chatted with him about failing to score in the red zone. This sounds like this should have been a closer game if Northwest finishes more drives off with touchdowns. It also sounds like Corey Tenyus was not settling for field goals inside the red zone. And that right there is the game-recognized game thing. When you see Deshaun Welch going up and down the field, you go, I got to score touchdowns. This guy's going to score every time he touches the football. So obviously that changes. That just changes the complexion. You said it. Central has a potentially special, team, and I think it's because of Deshaun Welch that you can look at this bunch and say the jump he has made just from sophomore to junior year. To me, I don't know how long it'll be before we get to see them ranked, but I think it's coming. I think, as far as wherever they are, Class 3, Class 4, they will be a top 10 team in the state. They're just playing too well at this point.
Well, and a little note on the rankings. The rankings are out for 8-man football, and what the sports writers and sportscasters have decided to do is they said, we're going to wait to rank everybody else until we don't even know what class everybody's in. So, so once that's announced, then they're going to go ahead and put out a ranking.
I believe we should have that information here over the next couple of days as far as classification goes, but we will certainly have that information out and ready to the public as soon as we have it available to us. But so that'll be interesting to keep an eye on. But another nice win for Central. We're going to keep an eye on that team because they are a good team, and they're a fun bunch to watch. Can't wait to get a chance to call another one of their games. Let's keep it moving as down the line, St. Pius, they got another nice win. They got a good-looking football team this year. They put a beat down on Grandview, 41-16. Grandview much improved this year, and they had a good start to the ball game, but St. Pius is a little bit overwhelming late in the game. And head coach of the Lancers, Dan Oliver, he had high praise for Nate Rubel.
Nate really picked up the pace tonight on offense. I don't know, somewhere, there's always something on the internet, but they kind of questioned maybe his speed or something tonight. So I think Nate was ready to roll, and he had I think at halftime it was about 150 or so yards rushing, and I want to say it was like 130, 140 receiving. So he was doing a good job, and actually didn't play in the second half due to some asthma and allergy symptoms.
Nathan, you talked about the defense of St. Pius and kind of where they hang their hat. Something we haven't been able to say often is 2-0 Grandview goes into week 3. But this is a team that put up 40-plus in the first 2 weeks, and Pius holds them to 16.
Yeah, and for all the stuff that Nate Rubel did offensively on Friday night, I'll tell you this much, watching him last year as a sophomore, he's a heck of a middle linebacker, too. And he's going to be the guy that leads that defense, and if they have a chance to be any bit as good as the one last year where I thought they were producing close to all-state talent with some of the guys they put on that side of the ball, I think they have a chance to be a really good team again this year. Obviously, they're expanding what they do with their best player offensively, but like you said, the defense stepping up and having, I think, a great game as well, fresh off a week where they played well at Pickett, Arkansas, and ultimately it just didn't do enough for them to get a victory.
Excited for that one this Friday between Pius and Jefferson. That'll be on KJFF. Pius with another nice win. They beat Grandview 41-16 this past week. And then keeping it going, Hillsboro, they got a nice bounce-back win as they beat Cape Central 47-20, a team that Chad will have a chance to see here coming up shortly when Farmington plays them. A little bit of a sneak preview. Hillsboro, good win. Hawks head coach Bill Saharsky, he said he was proud of his team's effort.
We preached to them all week that just come out, play hard for 48 minutes, and take care of business and run the football. And our kids did that. They executed the game plan really well. And I told them I thought we could come out with a W if they did those things. And hats off to our kids for, executing what we asked them to do.
Well, you talk about games that we're looking forward to. I think that Hillsboro North County game is going to be a real good matchup coming up on Friday, and we'll have that one right here on J98.
Yeah, the MAFC Red Division is going to be hotly contested this year, but whereas last year everybody was in flux, North County has gotten so much better. Festus has obviously improved, and this Hillsborough team was better than the 0-2 start they were off to, and they showed it. That I think there's a sense of just kind of relief in that victory, not just because you had a win to a solid start despite the record saying otherwise. That Cape Central team beats them in districts every year. They turned around and they hammered the Tigers.
Yeah.
That was a really, really good win. And a really good first victory for Bill Saharsky, the head coach at his alma mater, Hillsborough.
There was a feeling that the last 2 years, go ahead and get what you can against Cape because they'll be back.
Mm-hmm.
And this year, they looked like they were coming. And Kent Gibbs' is second year in the program. And he talked about the discipline and the weightlifting and everything, and that was going to carry over. I was a little surprised at this, to be honest. Hillsborough 47, Cape Central 20.
Well, it's a great win for the Hawks. And as you said, Nathan, a nice first win for Bill Saharsky as the new head coach at Hillsborough High School, his alma mater. Congrats to Coach Saharsky, of course, for getting that first win under his belt. And then St. Genevieve, they had another tough draw this Friday, man, as they drew Kennett. And Kennett was as advertised, 49-13, Kennett over St. Genevieve, as St. Gen just is having a hard time here this year. And Coach White, well, he says he thinks his team's getting closer to where they want to be.
It's tough. It's a tough beginning to our season. We know that. It's really tough on a team young like we are. But, I think our kids are learning some good lessons. And, the score doesn't indicate it tonight at all. But actually, the start of this game was probably as good as we could have hoped. It was tight early. Defensively, we made them move the ball down in little chunks. We didn't give up big plays. We couldn't get enough going offensively. It's kind of feel for the story of our start of our season. But I think we're right there.
So Kennett, obviously, as I said, they're as advertised. They're a darn good football team. And St. Gen, they're just having a hard time. They're young, and they're a young football team, and they've taken their lumps early on in the season. And I think the hope has to be that in the last, the second half or the last 2/3 of the season or the regular season, that St. Gen can benefit from this tough start to their year.
The last few years, there's been a little bit of a battle, not necessarily in terms of head-to-head, but who was going to have the number one seed in that Class 3 district between Kennett and Central, and they're both looking really good right now. And then you could have a situation where you throw Valley into that same district this year.
That would be nuts.
That's going to be a beast.
Well, when you talk about the youth of St. Genevieve and trying to, take this as a learning process, like Coach White says, the youth is up front. And I've seen this in all 3 games I've done this year. I think it's just the truth of the matter. You win football games at the line of scrimmage, you absolutely win or lose them in high school football. If you can't get it done up front, you're going to be in trouble. So when you're running first-time guys out there, it is truly a learning experience because that's the only way they're going to get better is through live game reps. So once St. Gen is able to get those guys more experience, it's not like they lack for athletes. Coach White still has some fun weapons on that team. It's just a matter of being able to win the game in the trenches.
Well, and that's something that, as I said, we'll hope to see that St. John can continue to improve as the year goes on. A tough start to the year, but still a lot of season, a lot of football left to be played for the Green Dragons over there. So I know they're not actually the Green Dragons, but they are green and they are dragons. So anyway, final game of the week, it was Festus with a big win over Windsor, 49-13. Festus, just too much for the Owls, who are looking good in their own right here this year. But Festus is really impressive. Windsor head coach Alex DeMatteis, he says he felt his team learned a lot and did grow a lot from this game.
Kind of missed some opportunities for us in the second quarter, and then they were able to open the score up a little bit. But, for the most part, I felt like at the end of the game, I was able to tell my team that this was a good growing experience for us as far as our positivity through the course of the game and our fight through the course of the game. And I think that we'll bounce back from this one for sure.
So Coach DeMatteis, something he's always talked about. I mean, just his team continuing to improve, incrementally. And I think, they're playing a juggernaut in Festus, who's a really, really good football team this year. And Festus just, they do what they do. I mean, Windsor had a good start to the ball game, but, Festus was just a little bit too much to handle.
Yeah, that offense continues to hum right along. Like I said, the fact that it's worked out so well for them here to start the season just says a lot about A.J. Ofadale and also about the kids that he inherited in that program. They've done an outstanding job. I'll keep pointing back to that defense, though, because it got better as they went along last season. When so many young guys were forced into action, they still found a way to rally and play well together on that side of the ball. And if I'm not mistaken, they've given up exactly 13 points now in all 3 games that they've played. So they're consistent on that side. They're playing really well, too. And that's the thing that's going to win you games at the end of the year. And, more often than not, you're going to have to get a stop before you have the ball in your hands at the end of the game, and especially at the end of the games you want to win at the end of the season.
Maybe lucky number 13 there for the Festus Tigers in that defensive unit. Let's go quickly here around the table with some big winners from week 3 of the high school football season. As really some lopsided games of the week, so not a whole lot of teams that had a standout, all that impressive, maybe comeback type of victory. I'll give you guys the floor and the opportunity first to pick. And Nathan, you want to go ahead and start? You go ahead and pick your big winner of the week.
I will take the Hillsboro Hawks. I mean, that is just a really hard number to ignore. Like you said, winning the game, I mean, that's not necessarily a stunner. That's a good team still. They have a pair of talented running backs that you're going to get to see Friday night, Brandon, in Austin Romaine and Jackson Patterson, and a guy in Zach McNeese who's a fantastic right tackle and a great defensive end on the other side of the ball. To win by 4 touchdowns, I mean, over a team that just constantly ends your season year in and year out, that means there are big strides being made, and you can obviously look at that 0-2 and say whoever they played must be really good, because I think this is proof that Hillsboro is going to be an excellent football team this season.
Chad, who do you got? Your big winner of the week.
You know, every week I've said I'm not going to choose, and we do our best. We're not going to choose the same. I take Hillsboro. I mean, and for the same reasons that Nathan gave, but also for a reason too that this happens at a time where they go into a game now this week that we're going to feature on J98. I think North County is also a big winner, not as much as Hillsboro, but the meeting between those two now, North County and Hillsboro coming up this week. I got to take Hillsboro too.
And then Steven, who do you have?
I'll go with the Central Rebels just because of mainly for the performance that you get out of the running back there, 381 yards. I mean, we'll just say I'll say my big winner is that kid
Fighting Welsh's.
the Fighting Welsh's.
Deshaun Welch, man, he had himself a whale of a game. And for me, I'm going to tip my cap to a couple of different teams. Chad, you said North County, good, big win for them. Looking forward to that matchup with Hillsboro coming up. Also want to tip my cap to a couple of other teams, as I said. Well, now I'm going to forget all of them. As also Potosi, another nice win. Jefferson, a nice bounce back win. So those are my 3 teams for this week. North County, Potosi with another nice victory, and Jefferson with a bounce back win.
Well, I was going to say, since we had 2, I'll throw real quickly to St. Pius to bounce back the way that they did, and they get to start conference play 1-0 by beating Grandview. I was just trying to check it here real quick. I know it was Labor Day weekend for them last weekend when they made that long trek down. That does not change the fact that from where we're sitting here in Applebee's in Farmington, it's 2.5 hours to Pickett, Arkansas. So you're talking about 5 hours of driving that they had to do, and all they got for a really good defensive performance was a loss. I think they wanted to take a little bit of the anchor of that out this week, and they did that. Props to Dan Oliver's team.
Didn't they just give up 12 points in that loss, though?
12 zip.
Yeah,
I mean, they played. I mean, it's almost, at least from a scorebook perspective, it's the same thing that happened to them in their semifinal loss to Farmington last year in the district playoffs. Their defense did what it had to do. They just couldn't put anything together offensively. The nice thing is this time around, they had a new game they could go back out there and show that that's not what they're about.
So there you have it. My big winner, North County, Potosi, and Jefferson. I had a little 3-way action there. Nathan, he had St. Pius. Gabler had Central, and Chad had Hillsboro. Nathan also tipped his cap to Hillsboro as well. But that'll do it. That's our big winners. We'll take another quick timeout. When we come back, we will look ahead to week 4 of the high school football season, preview the action, tell you the games we'll have coming up, and then we'll put a bow on our 3rd edition of the Kohl's Tractor and Equipment Football Roundtable. So stick around here on J98.
Cleaning chemicals, disinfectants, and paper products are just a few of the items available from CNC Suppliers in Farmington. I'm Cheryl Sneed, owner of CNC Suppliers, a
You want me to
janitorial
just play the rest of the
service
ads?
supplier for commercial and residential use. We carry cleaning products, disposable food containers, gloves, sanitizers, disinfectants, face masks, shields, paper products, and so much more. Find
What'd
CNC
you say?
Suppliers on Facebook or stop by our location on
Do you
Flat
want me
River
to
Road
just
in
play the
Farmington.
rest of the ads?
Yes.
Coldwell
Okay,
Banker
cool.
Holsey Real Estate has been the trusted real estate advisor for over 60 years in the mineral area. Hi, I'm Kim Hudson, owner of Coldwell Banker Holsey Real Estate. No one has helped more people buy or sell real estate in our community than the agents at Coldwell Banker Holsey Real Estate. We are proud of the community in which we live and serve. Contact us today for all your real estate needs. Find us on Facebook or online at coldwellbankerholsey.com. Coldwell Banker Holsey, we would love to be your realtor.
Gilster Mary Lee Corporation is looking for capable professional drivers.
At least 21 years old and truck school graduates are welcome. Paid hub mileage, downtime, holiday pay, home weekly with medical and life insurance, vacation bonus, Christmas bonus, commissary privileges, plus a profit sharing program. Low turnover with a realistic first year earning of $50,000. Apply in person at Gilster Mary Lee in Chester, Illinois, or call Mike Welker 800-851-5371, extension 3246.
Parkland Health Mart Pharmacy goes the extra mile for you literally every day with our free delivery service to your home or workplace Monday through Friday. Our drivers are running around your neighborhoods bringing our first-class service right to your door, in town, out of town, and all around. So don't hesitate to take advantage of our always free delivery service. Google Parkland Health Mart to find and call the location nearest you. With stores in Deloge, Farmington, Fredericktown, Ironton, and Piedmont, we've got you covered. Parkland Health Mart is always caring for you and about you.
When life changes, where can you get the health care that you or your loved one needs? Try Presbyterian Manor, where we consider you family. Being a member of our family means having a skilled, compassionate team, making sure you live your best life. Call 573-756-6768 today and schedule a visit to see why the community voted us the best independent living, best assisted living, and best skilled nursing community in the Parkland area.
Hey, man.
Hey.
Not,
Hey.
I mean, hey, man. You can call me Hey, man, because this hay season, I'm ready to save all the area farmers cutting and baling hay money with the best equipment and repair department anywhere.
Jason, you don't fix and service equipment. You are mower man. And if anyone around here is hey man, it's Travis and Patrick. They have over 25 years of combined experience and are the most qualified, certified, and capable technicians around. They know how to keep the area farmers growing, mowing, and baling. The real hey man are Travis and Patrick.
Dirt Diva, I hate it when you're right.
Let me fix my crown. Queen of the Green, you mean?
Flieg's Equipment.
15
we have
seconds.
The best hey man.
Hey men.
We have the best hey man around. See us today, Highway 67 at the Leadington exit and Highway 32 in St. Genevieve. Or go online, fleegs.com.
Flieg's Equipment, let our family serve your family.
Born in a small town, we're still in a small town. We're here in Farmington, Missouri. We're at Applebee's for the Kohl's Tractor and Equipment Football Roundtable. I'm Brandon Pavlina alongside Nathan Gertz, Chad Speaker, Stephen Kabler, Jake Reed back in the studio spinning the dials. We also had Jacob Vincent hanging out with us earlier, but now we've hit the home stretch, folks, and that means we got to look ahead to week 4 of the high school football season coming up on Friday. Let's start off with the games that we're going to be broadcasting on our airwaves. First and foremost, North County at Hillsboro. That's a big-time matchup between a couple of really good schools. I'll be on the call for that game, but I'm excited for it. Nathan, you've had a chance to see Hillsboro this year. I'm excited to see Griffin Ray, the young sophomore quarterback, how he is going to fare against a good North County team who's coming off a 62-0 butt whooping over DeSoto.
Yeah, I think that both of those teams have taken leaps and bounds from last year, and I think that they're the big reason of why this is going to be a fun race in their conference in the MAFC Red Division. I think that for every talented skill position player that you find on that Hillsboro team, whether it's Romaine or Patterson or John Bennett or Tyler Watson, I mean, North County's got one. Carter Kekek and all the terrific other players that they have that they can give the football to. And their quarterback, Nolan Reed, has taken some big steps. Sounds like sophomore Griffin Ray is settling in for Hillsboro, so it's probably going to come down to which offensive and defensive line goes out there and wins this thing. And Hillsboro, to that end, Bill Saharsky has said they're younger up front, and they're leaning on guys like Zach McNeese. That's one of their few returners. If they can put it together at home, I think they've got a chance. And I think that, like you said, I think that might be one of the better four-quarter games that we get in the entire area this year.
Turnovers could be a key in this one with, a couple of evenly matched teams.
Cannot give the football away.
And for Chad on KREI here this week, it's Farmington with the last-minute opponent change, as they're going to be heading out and taking on St. Dominic. What do you know about that?
I was proud of myself yesterday. I had done my research was actually ahead of schedule against Hayti. And I made all the accommodations and talked to the and then later in the days I get a text from Kabler, you're going to St. Dominic. So I talked to Eric Krupe, Farmington's head coach today, and I said, why didn't you get a cupcake to play you at home if you're rescheduling teams already. He said, you know what? There's not a lot to choose from out there right now. But St. Dominic's a very good ball club. 3-0 on the year. A nice schedule so far. They've got a quarterback in Gabe Seri, averaging over 200 yards per game passing, 232. They've got a little one of those water bug running backs, Jackson Overton. He's a sophomore, 5'6", 140 pounds, so you can't even see him behind the line. He's averaging over 130 yards rushing. Farmington, they got their power game really going last week as well as we've seen it go so far this year. Braden Botkin, their fullback, he goes from averaging a little over 60 yards per game over the first two, and just with his one performance, he's now averaging 127 a game. So that tells you what type of a power game that they had. For Farmington, if they can sustain drives, melt the clock, to me, and keep it away from St. Dominic offense that averages 235 on the ground and 238 through the air. So they can really do everything well. For me, that's the key to Farmington. Long sustained drives, melt the clock, keep it away, and then their defense has been solid this year.
Should be an interesting matchup there for Farmington. And then on KJF, Nathan's going to have a dandy between St. Pius and Jefferson. That's going to be a slugfest.
Yeah, second place in the I-55 conference at the very least, probably on the line here. For Jefferson especially, talking with Dylan Schnitzler right after he scored 4 touchdowns, his mind was already on getting revenge for losing not once but twice to their crosstown rivals a season ago. There's going to be some outstanding players all over the field. I have a feeling it's going to be close and competitive like last year. Maybe a few more points on the board. Both these offenses through the first 3 weeks of this season look like they're better than a year ago. So very interested to see how it plays out.
And then our final game on the SportStream, Stephen will have the call. Potosi at St. Genevieve. Potosi, you saw him last week. Blake Coleman may very well be under center once again, and he looked awfully good. St. Gen, they're still trying to find their footing. And they're going to have to do so against the Potosi defense that is as stout as they come in the area.
Yeah, I think I've got a chance to see both of these teams play so far. St. Gen in week 1 against Festus and Potosi last week. I really think that there's 2 things that I'm looking at. You mentioned it. Who's playing quarterback for the Trojans? Is it going to be Andrew or Blake? We don't know how long. I don't know how long Andrew was quarantining for. So which one of those is it going to be? And then is this Potosi team going to look at St. Gen's record and overlook them? The St. Gen schedule has been very difficult so far, and of course they're a very young team. So I don't think that record, that their 0-3 record, is really indicative of how talented this team can be. Did have Coach Wyrick, mention that to me. He said at the end of the game last week, they're St. Gen. They're always going to be St. Gen. You can't overlook them. So I think that they're going to be fine in that aspect. But if they're looking at St. Gen's record and thinking that they're just going to try and steamroll over this Dragons team, they're going to be in for a rude awakening. I think it could be a really good game. But again, that Potosi defense has really been the consistency for that squad this year. And if they show up against this St. Gen team, it's going to be could be a good day for Potosi.
We've had some lopsided games here so far through 3 weeks on our airwaves, but this lineup here this weekend should be some really, really good football games. So I'm excited for Friday night. Let's take a look around the rest of the games here quickly before we finish up our show here tonight. Central will be on the road at Cuba. As we said, that's going to be a real good one. Perryville is playing this week. They're going to be playing at Fredericktown.
It's team quarantine against team injury. So, really, you talk about, and it's a cliche, a battle of attrition. This is your this is your attrition matchup.
No, it's a battle of nutrition.
Well, maybe some of that too.
So Central at Cuba, Perryville at Fredericktown. St. Vincent is opponentless once again, as Herculaneum has now had to quarantine for a couple of weeks. So that was going to be Herky at St. Vincent. Herky now out. St. Vincent looking for an opponent. Texted with Coach Schumer earlier. They do not have an opponent just yet. So they are going to be looking for somebody to play on Friday night. Hopefully St. Vincent can find someone to get their second game of the season in the books. Valley Catholic, they're going to be on the road taking on Bayless. That's going to be a really good matchup. When I talked to Coach Nagger on the phone in the Home Pools and Spas post-game show, or end zone show, excuse me, Chad, he had said that the quarterback for Bayless is heading off to Navy. So this is a Division I football player that Valley Catholic is going to be going up against. So this is going to be a really fun matchup to see what Valley is made of, particularly on that defensive side of the ball, going against a really quality opponent in Bayless. So that's a one to keep an eye on. DeSoto is at Festus here this week. That's another one. A couple of teams up in Jefferson County squaring off. We'll see how that one shakes out. Northwest at Fox. That's another real good one. We'll see how those two fair with Fox coming in undefeated. Northwest looking to bounce back off a loss. And then our final game on Friday is Agape at Crystal City. As Crystal City with an opponent flip-flop at the last minute there, they picked up Agape. Seckman also, they are off this week. And so our two teams that are not playing this week, Windsor and Seckman. And then we do have a game that's going to be going on Saturday. I touched base with Dave Dallas. He confirmed that Saturday, Grandview is going to be at Russellville. That'll be our final game of the weekend. Nathan, I saw a head shake. Do you know anything about Russellville? I do not.
I don't either, but just a quick correction. It isn't Bayless this weekend for Valley Catholic. It is Orchard Farm. Who
That's
they're going to be
right.
hosting as well.
Yes, it is Orchard Farm. That's right. You know what? You looked at it funny when I said it the first time, and I forgot to confirm that. Orchard Farm, they're the ones who had the quarterback going to Navy. So that's going to be a good matchup there. Valley Catholic at Orchard Farm. Thank you, Nathan. That's why they pay you the big bucks, because hey, you pay attention.
Whoa. Big bucks? What? Where?
Where do we get those?
Yeah.
Because you pay attention, my man. So, and I said our off teams for the week, Windsor and Seckman, they will not be playing. But so a good week of some football. We're excited to see all those games in action here on Friday. But that is going to do it for all of us here on the regional radio sports team on the Kohl's Tractor Equipment Football Roundtable. Any parting thoughts, boys? Anybody got a final thought?
I hope that the districts are announced this week, because I'm really interested to see how the districts shape out. In particular, the Class 3 district, with the potential of having perhaps Valley, Kennett, and then also another note. There's a little bit of murmuring. Farmington, there's a possibility if enough teams drop out from the cities, they could elevate Farmington to Class 5. And that district would be crazy hard for them. So I hope they come out this week, as Misha had said they would. We will see.
And we will see. We will wait with bated breath to find out what the playoff situation is going to look like here in Southeast Missouri football. So that'll do it for us here on this week's edition of the Kohl's Tractor and Equipment Football Roundtable, live from Applebee's in Farmington. If you missed any of our conversations, we'll have the full roundtable posted shortly to our website. That's mymoinfo.com. A reminder, you can always go to our Hearing Care Partners broadcast schedule on mymoinfo.com. See a full list of all of our upcoming broadcasts here on regional radio. As always, a big thanks to Greg and Christy Cole and Kohl's Tractor and Equipment for sponsoring the roundtable. Big thanks to Amy Cousins and the entire staff here at Applebee's in Farmington for sponsoring and hosting the roundtable. And of course, a big thanks to you, the listener, for tuning in and hanging out with us. For Chad Speaker, Jacob Vincent, Stephen Kabler, Nathan Gertz, and Jake Reed, I'm Brandon Pavlina saying so long. And as always, be good. Please wear a mask.
KT